Ladies and gents, welcome to War Thunder with Mags, and welcome to the skies of the Pacific in the A6M3 Mod 22. Now, since 1.39, I've been seeing a lot of Japanese pilots constantly complaining about their BR ratings, that they've potentially got it worse than Germany in terms of facing over-tiered aircraft, inability to fight, so on and so forth. Why, there are certainly some errors in their tree. The Mod 22 right here is battle rating 4.7. I don't believe it should be that high. It should be reduced. I don't think the problem's as big as Japanese pilots are making out. Now, what I think Japan is suffering from at the moment is actually more of a self-fulfilling prophecy. A large amount of the Japanese player base believe they are in a bad position. They believe they are a beaten dog in terms of performance. And because they believe that, from the second they go into a battle, they're a beaten dog. Japanese teams aren't losing so much because of ineffective aircraft or a lack of performance. They're losing because they've decided they're going to lose. The second they're pulling their wheels off the carrier, the match is already over. So today's video, I'm going to bring you 3 battles. The first battle that we're facing here is a straight up case of the team had decided that they were not going to win this fight from the moment that they took off. The second battle is fighting against some actually very bad odds. And the third battle is going to be what happens when a Japanese team goes, screw this, we're not losing this one. Now, tiering, I would like to point out I'm in a battle rating 4.7 aircraft. Every single one of these matches you're going to see are either battle rating 5.3 or battle rating 6. I am the lowest tiered aircraft on the team. So, we're engaging US forces, and I've just made I'm starting to make my first aggressive movements through the clouds at the moment. I've been fairly evasive from the word go. I didn't climb fast enough at the start of the battle. The US team had an altitude advantage, mainly premium Spitfires, and I've been playing dodge the entire time. Now, I have been trying to put the aircraft in a supporting position where it is possible, but I have yet been able to do it in the clouds. So now I'm taking it to the deck. I'm going to see if I can try and keep some tails clear here. So here's my first target. Spitfire is bugging out fast here. And Spitfires are actually one of the more dangerous aircraft for Zeros to face. While their manoeuvrability is not high enough to keep up with a Zero, it is just enough, coupled with their energy retention, that a smart Spitfire pilot will be able to dodge around enough to be able to get guns back onto a Zero with clever flying. Put some hits in there. I've just rolled over and looped back in. I don't want to dive directly on the target, not at this low altitude. More hits, more hits, more hits. This was actually some really bad shooting. I'm not giving enough lead on any of these shots here, but then he takes into the vertical and I take off his wing. There we go. First kill. So peeling away from the Spitfire, and we're heading back into the battle. Unfortunately, we only have 7 aircraft left at this point in time. Now, almost all the aircraft we've just lost gave up the second they saw premium Spitfires and P-51s on the enemy team. The second they realised that they were fighting aircraft hit above them rather than below them, they didn't fight. And as a result, they died. Now, my original intention was to go after this Spitfire here, but I sort of looked up and realised I only had 21 cannon shells on board, so instead I turned back towards the main island runway to go and pick up a reload. Unfortunately, I make this decision to return to base and rearm way too late in the match. Our team now consists of 5 aircraft, including myself. The enemy team have only lost 5 in total. Most of the deaths so far, as I said, have been from Japanese players simply giving up. The 5 of us that are remaining are the 5 that have been fighting tooth and nail since the moment the battle went into play. The enemy aircraft are too fast for us to be able to outrun, to be able to set up a position around the base. This fight is going to happen over here in the harbour, and we don't really have a lot of choice. What we've got on the plains is what we've got to use. So I was moving in to intercept this premium Spit in front, and I spot this P-51 coming in from behind. So I stand on the elevators and bring it around sharply, and throw it straight into a half loop. Aileron roll out. Keep the whip on. Dive in sharply on the tail. 3 enemy fighters in front of me. Duck underneath this one's guns. I do take a big hit to the wing. I know he's going to turn around and come back in on me, so I'm going to bring it back around fast. Put it back on the deck. I want to position myself for a second turn in. He overshoots. I fire shots from the rear. And score a critical hit. Shoot his elevator straight off the back of his P51. With the elevator removed, he goes in. 6 planes down. My second kill for the match. But that's all my cannon out too. I'm down to 2 twin 7.7mm machine guns. I have damaged wing. And I am surrounded by Spitfires and premium Spitfires at the moment. To make matters worse, there are only 2 aircraft left on the Allied team, including me. The remaining 3 of our flight have been eliminated. And besides the P51 that I killed, no additional enemy fighters have been knocked out. This battle is just over. Now, it's worth re-mentioning at this time that I am one of, if not the lowest leveled or lowest BR aircraft on this team. Actually, in this match in general. Most of the aircraft in this match are battle rating 5 or above. And yet I come first place for the Japanese team. Our team had KI-84s, A6M5s, yet I come first. So the lowest level aircraft on the team is one of the last to die and also comes in first place. Just keep that in mind. So, round 2, and I'm beginning my engagement against this Airacobra, and this round we've rolled up the B-17 spam. The enemy team consists of 5 B-17s. 4 of them are E models, 1 of them is a G model, so this is a battle rating 6 match. Now, most of the enemy team's fighters are P-51s. This Airacobra and a Corsair managed to fail platoon their way into this match with a B-17. And the B-17s are doing exactly the same thing they do every single round without fail. They are flying straight up to the carriers and bombing them to oblivion. Now, this team is a mix of A6M3 Mod 22s, A6M5s, and 2 Focke-Wulf 190 premiums. There's also 1 or 2 KI-84s floating around as well. So it's a fairly high ranked team. Again, I'm one of the lowest ranked aircraft on it, excluding these Corsairs and Airacobras, of course, on the enemy team. And I've just shredded the Corsair, so he's out of the fight. Now, knowing the situation we're in with the B-17s, we're not even trying to stop them. The first thing we're doing is going around and stripping out all of these enemy fighters. If we're going to engage B-17s in zeros, we can't have fighters in the area as well. They have to be removed, and thankfully the vast majority of them have come all the way over here so we can deal with them ourselves. The P-51s basically dove straight into the fighter swarm and got ripped to pieces. We've just got these stragglers that are floating around, which are generally the low-level aircraft. It's interesting, they seem to survive longer than things like the P-51. Now our A6M3 and an A6M5 are beginning to engage the first of the B-17s. Now I'm just checking the sky, just making sure there's no more enemy fighters around before I begin to do exactly the same thing. The first B-17 has presented itself. I try and get a massive lead angle on it here so I can get a cockpit shot on it, but unfortunately it banks away to the right. Alright, so it looks like I'm going to have to engage it from behind. Now, I don't like engaging a B-17 like this, but judging from the way it's manoeuvring, the pilot is controlling the aircraft at the moment. It isn't on manual gunners, which helps. Still being highly evasive. I don't want those 50 cals falling onto me. There is no place for me to repair anymore. See the shots going off. Immediately rock and roll the plane around. Pull back onto its tail. Pump more into that right wing. And down he goes. And there were 4. Now, it was about now I realised it's going to be dangerous trying to engage the remainder of these B-17s, so we are going to have to do something else to get a win. I quickly jump into chat and actually tell the rest of the team, stop engaging the B-17s, go and hit the oncoming landing craft. If we take out all the landing craft and don't allow any of the enemy team's tanks to get onto this island, our forces will be able to quite easily land on the runway and capture the island. The B-17s have blown their entire payloads, bombing out all their carriers. None of them have bombs anymore. They have no way of destroying tanks once they're on the island. They don't have the accuracy on turret gunners to be able to punch through armoured tanks, at least not heavily armoured tanks that will be deployed on this island with their 50 calibers. If tanks land on the island, there's absolutely nothing that they can do to win this match. There's nothing they can do to stop the cap. All we have to do is delay long enough to take out all their landing craft. Which is precisely what we wind up doing. For the next 5 minutes we wind up strafing out ground targets over and over and over again, popping landing craft repetitively until eventually I run out of ammo and am forced to try and remove one more of the B-17s by other means. Unfortunately, I'm not sure if it was a bug or if it's something deliberately in the programming, but I'm assuming it would be a bug, but as just before the landing craft actually hit the beach for the island to deploy Japanese tanks, they stopped. All the Japanese landing craft just stopped. So no tanks were deployed. Why we managed to delay for up to 10 minutes by the time the end of the match hit, it wasn't enough because the tanks would not land. So again, first place, 2 kills, 4 assists. I ran out of ammo before I could do anything meaningful to the landing craft. Thanks to my kamikaze and some really good shooting by the team, however, the enemy team only had 2 B-17s remaining when this match ended. And because the team didn't give up, if those landing craft had deployed their tanks and not bugged out, that match would have been a win. And so begins round 3. Now this time, well, this is almost a copy of the first battle. The enemy team is Premium Spitfires P51s, the allied team is KI-84s and A6M5s. In this A6M3 Mod 22, I am once again the lowest level aircraft on the team. And likely the lowest level player in the match. So what is different about this round? Well, this round, the Japanese team decided that it was not taking any shit from the US. First P51 has passed through underneath. I'm moving to pursue. I'm not bothering diving in. There's no way known I'm going to match that thing's speed. I'll keep a little bit of altitude so I have my energy up for manoeuvring. As you can see, just about everybody is up and kicking this round. So I'm just tracking this P51, monitoring what it's doing as it's heading towards the point at A. Now, victory on this map is largely dependent for the US forces on whether or not they are able to capture A. A gives them access to a land-based runway, allowing things like the P-51 to land, rearm, refuel and repair. As a result, it's usually the highest density of combat happens over top of A at the initial point of the match, because it's enemy aircraft attempting to clear ground defences, enemy aircraft also providing fighter support and engaging anyone coming in to try and prevent the attackers hitting ground targets from being able to do their job. I was very interested in this match when I showed up here, and besides this P-51 that is just manoeuvring out of the way, there was nobody here. So the P-51's made its turn on the Hayate. He pulls in this way, so I stand up sharply and roll over the top. Drop the nose of the plane back down, ready to assist the Ki-84 if necessary, but it wasn't needed. The P-51 is down. So what to do while I'm over this end of the world? Well, I'm going to try and prevent them from being able to capture A. Now, capturing both islands requires these landing craft be able to deploy at least 50% of their ground forces. If you can wipe out all the landing craft before they are able to do so, the ground defences for the island, providing they're left unmolested, should be able to take out all the oncoming tanks and capture forces on their own without any assistance from the players. So, they go through and try and clean out all the landing craft before they have a chance to deploy tanks. Now, this first batch that I'm attacking here are always the first landing craft to land on this island. The second batch doesn't land for another 60 seconds. So I actually have time to clean that group out and then move to intercept the next. Now I'm doing a quick head check here. Closest enemy aircraft is that premium Spitfire in front of me at 8Ks. It is closing, but it looks like I have interceptors in the area. So I'm going to have a window to take out this second force as well. Now US forces only get one wave of landing craft on this map, so if you can eliminate these two batches on A, and the batch that's incoming on B is also eliminated by your forces, America cannot win by a ground capture on this map. This limits their option to victory to only eliminating the entirety of the Japanese team. They cannot win via a ground capture. However, without being able to cap one of the ground-based runways, the only repair and resupply point that they have on this map is the carriers. If most of your force consists of land-based fighters, that's a major issue. So with those shots, that's all 12 landing craft that attack the A point have been eliminated. I do swing the guns around here and try and take a crack at the tanks. Theoretically, Japanese 20mm should be able to penetrate light tanks, but I've never had any success doing it, but worth the attempt anyway. The tank is astute, takes shots from the front, ricochets, lots of hits, no damage, all ricochets. Attacking from the front, probably not a wide mode. I bring the plane around to try and get an angle on the rear, not enough. Just turn away and angle back around. Yeah, it's a bit of a smarter move. Try and put shells in the back of the tank and see if that helps. Big shots, it's a high angle, hit the engine plate, no damage. And at this point I'm pretty low on cannon ammunition, so I'm just going to bail out of the area, go over to the A runway, land and get a repair and a rearm. Take a quick crack at the AIF-6F as it goes through the area, nose it back over, head straight back into the runway. Now I'm on the glide path for a standard smooth landing, pick up a kill assist on that AI for the shots I put into it on the way past, and I'm feeling pretty good at this point in time. The amount of damage I've done to the ground forces, they should not be able to capture A. Unfortunately, nobody has done the same thing to the oncoming landing craft at B. Now at B they only have a single convoy, but they still need to be destroyed by players. The single convoy can actually deploy 2 squadrons of heavy tanks. So I'm back up in the air, and while our team has taken a beating, so has theirs, but we've got nobody with bombs remaining available, and that's the only way to take out heavy tanks on that island. So we're aware they are going to get a runway unless we're fast. We've got about maybe 10 minutes to finish this map up. Make my first move. One of our Hayates being engaged by 2 targets. Move on the P-51, it was the more dangerous of the 2. The second target was a P-38. Get too close for my convergence there. Quickly loop the plane over to arrest speed. I actually want the P-51 to get away a little. Re-dive back in on its tail. But no need to worry, in it goes. The Hayate eliminates its target, so I pull into formation with it and we move to engage the next set of oncoming fighters. P-51's ahead. I have to keep the weapon here in order to try and keep even somewhat near close to the speed that the Hayate is able to pull. At the speed he's pulling away, he's likely not weaping at the moment. He's taking the opportunity to cool off his engine. So there is a bit of a speed difference between these 2 aircraft. But I'm pulling in for altitude. The Ka-84 will engage first. I will engage second. Now we do have a third plane here that the P-51s were in pursuit of. It's busted out underneath us and is heading back towards A. I just turn in towards the P-51 and then turn out to close distance on it fast. I want it to have to turn. The Ka-84 moves up over the second P-51. I'm now moving in on the second P-51 to clear it off his tail. I need that Ka-84 alive. A little over half a kilometre away, still not quite close enough for effective use of Japanese guns, but I'm in range now. Find my shots. He breaks off straight away, clearing the Ka-84. The Ka-84 is already mid-turn, turning back at the moment. Shots in and fireball the second P-51. Now I saw shells come in there for a second, check 6, as second P51 has turned around and moved to intercept me. I dip underneath, but the Ka-84 I just rescued comes through and lights the other P51 on fire. They're both burning, and that's the last of the P51s to deal with. Now from this point the only enemy aircraft remaining was a premium American Spitfire, which ended up crashing. I think it actually tried a carrier landing because it didn't have any runways to rearm, so that made the end of the match. So, results for the match. First place for the team, 2 player kills, 2 AI kills, 12 ground targets, 1 assist. Terror of the Sky Award, the Anti-Mech Award, Bulletproof Award, Balancer Award, and On-Hand Awards. 66,889 Silver Lions and 8,712 research points, which was enough to finally complete the unlocks on the Mod 22. I probably should have mentioned that sooner. None of the matches you've seen so far in this video have had a fully upgraded Mod 22. And that's what can be done in an A6M3 Mod 22 in a battle rating 5.3 match, if you are determined and you don't give up before the match is actually over. And that was the only real difference between these 3 matches. The first match you saw, all but 4 or 5 of us had decided that this match was going to be a loss before they'd ever really taken off or gotten into battle. The remaining 5 of us were fighting the full enemy team, basically on our own, and we just weren't enough. The second match, same team was determined that they weren't going to lose that round. Now, we did lose because the landing craft never actually hit the island. They just sort of stalled about 100 metres off the coast and never deployed tanks. However, we put up a hell of a fight. There were only 2 B-17s remaining on the enemy team when we were finally eliminated. Which led, of course, to the final round, where pretty much nobody on the Japanese team had decided this match was going to be a loss before it had started. Nearly everybody achieved something within the match. The fighting on all parts of the map was vicious. Now, I'm not saying that I don't think the Japanese really have a problem with their BR ratings. They do. They have some aircraft that really need some serious readjustment. But what I'm seeing more and more, the more I fly my Japanese aircraft, especially in the mid to high tiers where people seem to be complaining the most, it's attitude. Most of the Japanese teams, they win or loss based on whether or not they think they're going to win or lose before they've ever retracted the landing gear. I've seen whole sections of Japanese teams that will instantly quit the second they see a premium Spitfire or a P51. Unless they're being down-tiered, they won't stay. You have to fight the battle before you can lose it, and that's the problem I'm seeing with most Japanese teams as I've been flying at the moment. They're not fighting the battle at all. The white flag is already on the pole, while they're still sitting in the queue waiting for a battle to pop. So the next time you head into battle as a Japanese, rather than looking at all the negatives, try going in thinking, yep, I'm going to win this one and I don't give a rat's ass what anyone says. You might be surprised by the results. Until next time, click like if you do, subscribe if you want to see more, fly smart, fly safe, and I'll catch you in the skies.